Alright, welcome back everybody. You know what, I've seen him in chat. I didn't give him a proper shout out earlier, but I want to welcome our engineer to our chat. He's been here several times in the past. Thank you for keeping up, and everyone else as well for participating. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You guys are half of the work here at BaseTradeTV. You help build the community to be what it is, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying this broadcast. Let me touch up this scoreboard, but while I do, guys, in case you're tuning in just now, this is the Kaspersky King of the Hill Arena. 1,000 euro, the total prize pool. This current series, this third series, worth 300 euro right now. So for this lone best of 5, someone is walking away with a lot of money in their pockets. But this is Rifkin. I'm casting with our lovely guest today, Nostalgia Talix, and getting into this in the lower right corner of the map, playing for Team Liquid. He's our blue Zerg player, TLO.
That was just beautiful. And in the top left-hand corner, as a red Terran player from Team Evil Geniuses, the current breadwinner here today, up $200 already. Can he continue that? We have ThorZain.
I gotta tell you, man, it felt like he got muscled out pretty hard in that first game. I don't want to like give that away in case anyone's watching the VODs out of order or something, but like TLO, man, I gotta say, like, that wasn't even close at the end. Like, it was a little bit dancing in the mid game, but TLO just overpowered him. And like I said, for the Swarm, we'll see if he can pull that off again.
Yeah, he definitely had, I guess you could say, some trouble in that first game, but I mean, TLO was just on game. Like, he just knew what to do to crush all of what ThorZain was doing, and he just did that so effectively. So we'll have to see whether or not ThorZain's going to be, going back into this game and be like, well, that didn't work in the last game. Maybe I should try this out and see if it'll work for him.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of a very peculiar matchup right now.
Yeah.
For a long time, the standard to this was Biomine versus, Banelings, Zerglings, and Mutalisks, but we've seen it evolve into so much more. One of my most recent favorite series to watch that was TVZ, well, aside from Pult versus Hyun, of course, which we got to cast 1 week after MLG live for Zotek. Actually, recently we cast Hero Marine versus Hope, both 2 players on Mouse Sports, but Hero Marine actually did this build that incorporated 0 Widow Mines whatsoever, just Bio and Hellbats, Bio and Thors, like this crazy mix-up of a strategy that works, but is very uncommon. I would love to see something similar to that come out of ThorZain, where you just catch TLO off guard. Like, TLO is so used to being the one who plays out of the ordinary, maybe a little bit of role reversal could just completely turn him on his head.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you see those different types of strategies that just completely come out of nowhere and are so effective that it's just like you start watching, they're like, why didn't I try to do that? Why isn't that more common? Because everybody always plays, that standard, like you were saying, the Widowmine, the Bios versus, the Zergling, Baneling. Like, it's so common. It's just always great to see different types of things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And, more icing on the cake here for both these players to build them up a bit. What I love is they're both players that actually stream as well. Like, there's a lot of pro players out there that they're very successful, but they don't stream that often. But both TLO and ThorZain, I would definitely classify as more popular StarCraft 2 streamers. So if you guys want to, I do encourage you, go to Team Liquid sometime, look them up. You can find all the streaming information there. I don't want to give out the wrong information right now, but either way, like, do check them out because they're both very fun to watch. I've seen both of their streams plenty of times in the past. Yeah,
definitely big fan favorites here. And, we expect so much great things from them because they're such great players with such great results. All right, TLO is moving queens across the map right now.
This is interesting to me.
Walking those queens. They move so fast.
He's got something in mind. Like, I'm almost hoping he goes for some sort of weird build cancel hatchery creep spread ultra tumors in the middle of the map type thing.
That would be awesome. With spine crawlers, man, and spores.
Well, I mean, what he's got the possibility of doing here, and this is going to sound so weird to describe, if he can deny the natural for long enough, looks like he won't because the Zerglings aren't underneath it. I was going to say, if he spreads creep there through tumor and cancellations, that could be incredibly obnoxious for ThorZain to have to deal with. Not quite Cat's obnoxious. Yeah, there we go. There's the build cancel. This is such an intelligent move, and I want to explain to you guys why. So what this does is it allows TLO to basically leapfrog 7 minutes into the game and start getting tumors out across the map, somewhere he shouldn't normally be able to do this in.
Yeah, definitely. Look at those start already. Now
and
we're
these
gonna
two
have
queens
those
can fight the Hellions. They can actually take this fight too to protect the tumors, which is really cool.
He's probably just like, how did that creep get there so fast?
Well,
but you know what? ThorZain knows exactly what's going on. So he's going to try to go back home. There still is 2 queens right there. Double evolution chambers go down. He should be able to hold this. Oh, yeah. He's going to be fine.
First blood.
And the drone does sizzle, sadly, but we got more Hellions following this up. But the creep spray, guys, the key thing about this being already across the map is this gives TLO such a huge jumpstart in his map control. He doesn't have to rely on Overlords to get that vision to see when his opponent's moving across the field. And more importantly, it's going to force ThorZain to make scans to get rid of the creep much earlier than he would have otherwise wanted to. And if this gets really out of hand, he might even get creep into the third base and deny a whole base from ThorZain just through creep.
Yeah, I definitely think that's actually something TLO probably wants to do. He's paying so much attention to that creep spread right now. He's just started moving his queens towards the natural expansion. Oh, he's got to be careful. He doesn't want to lose those, of course.
They're actually gonna assault the base here, Taylor.
Yeah, they're just gonna be like obnoxious queens. Just suddenly queens appear.
And what's really weird about this push, this is actually nothing to contend with this. A Marine does not take on a queen.
Wow,
Hellions on the other side of the map dealing with that Hellbat drop. Or sorry, Queens rather, dealing with them. They're trying to keep the Hellions out of the base if this wall falls. If TLO, he's got a hold position here. The drone's on a nice hold. The Hellions are getting taken out. The Hellbat's trying to walk through, but he keeps ThorZain out of the base.
Wow, that was so amazing by TLO right there. And not only that, the Queen's still doing some pretty good damage. He will lose those.
They almost killed a Marauder, for God's sakes. What is this push coming out of TLO?
And he's really delayed that one supply depot as well.
Oh my God.
Very
He
close.
almost killed it.
Yeah, it got so close to finishing off. So when that finishes up, he's going to have to do a repair on that. But look at the creep spread in the middle of the map right now.
TLO, what are you doing, you magnificent crazy man? This is awesome. These are definitely, like, maybe Whiterun, like, temporarily gave him his special tactics gene.
Yeah.
Like, he pulled it out of his heart. He's like, TLO, my friend, eat this.
Well, it must have been delicious because it seems like TLO took a lot of it. Alright, well, these roaches are going to try to do some damage here. There's a lot from the Terran. He will be forcing these roaches back, but the roaches, oh, there's a resupply
There's so
of them.
many of them.
Yeah, and they're so close to the edge of that creep right now already as well.
Well, even without speed kicking in and fighting off creep, you can still kite Hellbats with roaches, which is something so silly to consider. ThorZain with the Marauders, though, that is the biggest threat here.
Yeah, let's see. Do you think he's going to push in for an attack right now, or do you think he's just going to wait?
He's got to wait for
I
at
think
least
he's gonna
weapons.
wait.
Like,
Yeah,
maybe not speed, but at least the weapon upgrade. It's so close.
All right, well, there we go. We do have those creep tumors, but there's no queens here in the middle of the map right now. So there we go. The scan goes down. He's going to be able to start picking up quite a bit of this. Those 2 forward creep tumors do actually get killed off. We're going to have those queens come back here.
Ooh, Roach has picked off a couple SCVs. Looks like back at home, these Hellbats and Marauders unloading for the medevacs one at a time. Look at that, sniping these off. Such big. Oh, he picks up that Hellbat. Should not have been able to do that, but he did.
Yeah, that was crazy insane there from ThorZain. Even in the last game, we saw that he picked up a whole bunch of SCVs that were about to die to Banelings, which was just so cool to see. Oh, man, that's something that we've been seeing a lot more about lately as well, because you had that one post on Reddit about the guy who picked up all those SCVs.
Yeah. Oh, man, I know what you're talking about. That Hero Marine guy.
Yeah, Hero Marine, that's the one. Yeah, that was so awesome to see. And you know what? ThorZain did that in that last game as well.
Well, we got the boost coming out of these medevacs. They want to definitely try and do some damage. He's let TLO get away with so much. This third base is so saturated, it really should not be. But this is a dangerous position for TLO. This third base is like the worst place, and this is why we have the Spore Crawler come down on the high ground, guys. Every Terran player loves to drop here. You go behind the mineral line, oh, you're surrounded, pick up, go to the upper ramp. You can still shoot the mineral line. So I love that TLO positioned the Spore Crawler on the top ramp. That's actually a really intelligent choice.
Yeah, alright, well, it looks like ThorZain's trying to move out and take that third base. The Overlord started getting attacked, but he is still spreading creep, so that creep will take a couple of seconds
God,
for it
this
to
is
be moving away.
ridiculous.
So our TLO is just so good right now.
He was spreading creep on 3 different fronts. Offensively, and he got from the middle of the map onwards, from the middle of the map backwards, and from his base forwards. This is insane, the creep spread we have at 12 minutes of the game. But okay, Marauders being picked up again clutchily at the last second, but there's Marauders on the high ground, or Roaches rather, waiting for them on the high ground. Praying.
God, that creep spread is so annoying. It's taking so long for it to clear up. There we go. The orbital command is about ready to finally land. And that took so long to get that third base down because TLO is already getting his 4th.
Look at, just go to the vision of TLO for a second. He can see the entire middle of the map. Like, this is this is getting really out of hand. ThorZain now scanning to clean this up. A really good move in my opinion, because he cannot allow TLO to maintain this map control. It doesn't seem like a lot. The creep tumors, they're not turrets, they don't hurt you. But if your opponent knows every move you're making as you make it, oh man, you're never going to win that game.
Yeah, and not only that, but it also makes you more effective on the creep as a Zerg. So you go faster, and it's just really obnoxious for a lot of Terran players to have to try to deal with this.
Well, ThorZain, I gotta say, like, he's making the most out of all these Marauders. I mean, they've not been able to do much, but he's kept them alive. But more importantly, he has kept TLO from pushing into his own base. The last thing ThorZain wants is for TLO to go on the offensive right now.
Yeah, so, you know, he's continues to be quite harassing now. Hydralisk's here as well. Will he be able to pick up some of these?
It's like the Magical Cups game, like, which one has the Marauders in it?
It's always the middle one. Here we go. Some roaches going to try to get some damage here. Take out a tank, and they're now going to be running back here towards the natural expansion of ThorZain. ThorZain doing a lot of damage here, so he's got to be so careful. TLO.
This is going to get problematic for TLO, though. Or, sorry, for ThorZain. You make a lot of tanks like this, you become very defensive and hard to push against. But unless you're going dedicated mech with these tanks, they're so valuable, and losing each one is worth that much more. But, oh man, tons of roaches. These Hydralisks, man, they're just shredding the bio to bits. SCVs are being pulled. ThorZain is so quick to pull SCVs, I must say, every round, every game. He's been very quick to pull them, but it's necessary. Look at this. He's actually going to drive this back with a much lesser force.
Well, yeah, here we go. Even some resupply here. It actually looks like ThorZain's not going to be the one to have to retreat because Liquid TLO has got so much just flooding in right now. He's got roaches. He's got Hydralisks. There's like 10 roaches, 11 roaches constantly in production right now, and the Hive is on its way as well.
Man, oh man, I want to point out, by the way, look at the upgrades here. TLO in a massive lead over ThorZain. His 2-2 so close to finishing, but not quite. And these fights that TLO is forcing, this is like the perfect time for him to get in there and try and do some damage.
Yeah, he's looking so strong right now. He actually forces the lift up on that orbital command, bringing ThorZain back down to just 2 bases. ThorZain, it's really hard to try to figure out what to do here. Another great engagement going on. The Roach is doing tons of damage. There's a lot of bio back here, and the Marauders do force the Roaches back. So he does manage to hold it just once again, but all the SCVs, like you were saying, constantly being pulled here by ThorZain to try to defend against this because it could always be his last attack.
You know, I really like ThorZain's choice to do this, so I feel not enough Terrans pull SCVs, even if it's not a dire situation, because you've got mules to replace them. The only SCVs that are the important ones are the ones mining gas. If you throw away 14 workers to keep 3 extra siege tanks alive, then it's entirely worth it at this stage of the game. Maybe not early on when you've only got 1 command center, but when you got 3 CCs all dropping mules, or sorry, not even CCs, orbital command centers, I should say, it's totally worth it. And, oh man, Talix, look here in the lower left.
Yeah, there's a drop coming. And the cool thing is each one of these medevacs actually has the same composition. 2 Marauders, 4 Marines in each one.
Well, the thing he's got to worry about, though, is like TLO's got the static defense down. There's no way this is going to hold up to the drop. The drop is going to shred it to bits, but he's got to make sure not to lose any of these medevacs. If he loses any of these medevacs, suddenly that's 8 units, or sorry, well, I guess in this case 6 units that are going to just die.
Oh, here we go, TLO. He saw it. And will he defend against it? Yes, he will.
Oh, this so whoever pinged, there's actually a supply depot burning down right now for ThorZain. Kind of sucks. Nice boost past the Spore Crawler, but he's going to lose one of the medevacs. Oh, and that sucks. And, yeah, look. The Viper actually abducting the other one. He can't pick up and leave with this entire force. Wow.
That was a lot of damage, though. ThorZain now actually taking the supply lead here over TLO. TLO resupplying with 10 Hydralisks, and he's getting 3-3 right now, as where our Terran player is also getting 3-3. So ThorZain slowly, but he did manage to catch up in terms of upgrades.
And, you know, the Vipers in this are actually a really curious choice to make, because when a Terran player is going bio, the Blinding Cloud is always good. There's never not a good Blinding Cloud, but there's also ineffective Blinding Clouds, and the Terran player is just going to stim out a Blinding Cloud every single time. So TLO has to literally... This is going to be like some cool alliteration as I tell that he literally needs to litter the field with Blinding Clouds to make this work.
The litter. But,
the ladder of the litter.
True. There you go. A lot of the Vipers right now, they're just absorbing some health here from things like these forward evolution chambers that are not doing anything right now. Great play. I mean, TLO, he knows how to Zerg. He is the Swarm. Sarah Kerrigan, eat your heart out because we have TLO.
Well... Hang on, not to count ThorZain out or anything yet. He's got this nice drop position, but the awkward amount of Overlords. There's like 9 Overlords there doing nothing but dropping creep. Did scout that and kind of sent the medevac on a bit of a swervy, confusing adventure. Now this 4th base coming up for TLO, sorry, 5th base coming up for TLO is going to be very well defended. We got a lot of Spine Crawlers coming down. It's going to be very difficult to drop this base unless he goes in right now before the Spines are finished.
All right, the drop goes down. These Spine Crawlers are getting very, very close to finishing up.
Oh, but the medevac dies. Oh, ThorZain, this is so painful to watch.
Yeah, he actually is just completely fine. The Marauder here will get picked up, and the rest of the army will just die as well. But it's so hard. ThorZain's just looking for a place where he can take that 4th base. It looks like he's trying to get to the top. Middle, I mean, he had to clean up quite a lot of creep. And, you know, he's doing an effective job of keeping that all down, but... man, TLO's just moving so well across the map.
big scary thing is now we got infestors with this army, and a
Yeah.
good fungal growth, blinding clouds. If you can't stem out of that blinding cloud, if you're stuck in that fungal growth, those units are going to die. Let's see if you, yeah, there we go, right on top of the siege tank. Immediately we'll take this down. Big blinding clouds go off, like huge siege tanks in the back. ThorZain just needs to fall back a little bit, but he can't. He's locked in place due to that fungal growth. Talix, he's gonna win this fight.
Yeah, that was amazing there for ThorZain. The supply's so even right now. We have a TLO right now. He's actually getting a Spire. He's making 17 more roaches, and he's just finished up that 3-3.
You know, right now, a big scary thing for TLO as well is he's got a, that command center almost burning down there for ThorZain. But I was going to say, TLO's got to start looking at getting more of those heavier duty tech units on the field. He's looking towards doing that because he's getting the melee upgrades, of course, wants to eventually get Ultralisks on the field. But right now, because of how much he's invested in this range, it's not worth the tech swap just yet.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's continuing along making the Roach Hydra, but the Roach Hydra is so mobile right now because of that creep spread. He's able to deny that fourth base over and over and over again. If ThorZain pulls his army too far to defend that fourth base, he loses the third. That's just what happens.
You know, a big scary thing here too, ThorZain, he's slowly moving up, but you got to keep in mind, like, he's holding TLO's army off with very minimal economy in comparison. But
Yeah,
oh
that's
man,
definitely true.
we got that big fight coming in here. The siege tank's not quite sieged up yet. Fungal growth does go down. Tons of infested Terrans littering this. Talix, take this away.
Wow, that is so great right now. We can see TLO, he's just chewing through the tech army of ThorZain. ThorZain's doing a lot of damage with the Roach and the Hydras, and of course the Infested Terran doing so much. The resupply is here, and will TLO be able to take this, or will ThorZain just barely hold?
There's a few tanks remaining. He can't quite get everything here. Both players with a bit of a wash as they both walk away with almost nothing.
And one fungal growth goes down and gets that one siege tank.
Oh, but he
So-
loses the infestor for it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great hold there by ThorZain, only really losing the army. He kept all of the SCVs basically alive at that point, so he's still looking pretty strong. TLO right now 127 supply, ThorZain 150. ThorZain's looking actually really, really strong right now.
He is, but the big catch with ThorZain, he's not been able to push out across the map at any point. Every time he
Yeah.
does with a drop or with a small strike force, it's not gone well for him. And you can only play defensive so long. Eventually the map will mine out, and eventually you will find yourself starving and wanting.
Yeah, we'll have to see right now. Something I really love is the sensor tower placements here by ThorZain. He's able actually to keep an eye on whenever TLO actually wants to move in. You know,
The boobies on the minimap.
oh my gosh.
Yes, I am 14 years old, guys. Welcome. No, just...
Well, behind this, you know, ThorZain, he's actually trying to get that fifth base down right now. There's no real attack coming out here from TLO. Looks like he's bringing a couple of roaches here to maybe see if he can deny that, but that is going to be turning itself into a planetary fortress. He's going to have some Marines and Marauders there. He's going to have the SCPs to repair. And there we go. Lots of mules being dropped as well. So I think, you know what? ThorZain, he's putting himself into a great position in this game, despite having to come back from such great disadvantages. He's doing a fantastic job. And you know what? He might actually bring this series back.
But here's that scary catch. Look at the unit composition for ThorZain right now. He's definitely in a really strong position, but he's got almost no anti-air on the field. He's got he's got 2 Vikings to speak of, 30 Marines, and TLO's actually gone not for Ultralisks, but for Broodlords. And without that Viking count, without those Ravens on the field, it's going to be nearly impossible to deal with.
2 roaches made it into the main of ThorZain. They walked across
they
the
burrowed!
map.
They burrowed! They're going to heal up and come back to pick off Tech Labs later. Don't know if ThorZain thought he killed them or not. Meanwhile, huge attack force here in the lower left corner of the map will snipe this base off. But TLO, man, he's already got so much on the field. I think he's okay to lose this base.
It's very possible. I mean, you know what? ThorZain's attacking from so many different angles. From the right, from the bottom.
He's abusing that high ground on that watchtower, too. Though, actually, TLO can't mine from either of these bases right now. I say he could afford to lose it, but I'm completely wrong in that aspect. He's desperately needs to mine from one of these bases, and he can't mine from either. Look at those Marauders.
Yeah, the Marauders are doing so much damage right now. The drones just can't get into a good place. Here we go. The Broodlord's going to be moving in here. See if they can do some damage, but...
The problem is he now reveals that Broodlord tech, something that was going to remain a mystery for quite some time. And wow, the Marauders take forever to die, even a bunch of Broodlings. But immediately we should see Viking production, and Thor's to boot with this.
Yeah, Thor's Marines, Vikings right now. You know what? He's making another command center. He wants to continue to be able to expand. ThorZain actually now taking the lead in this game after such cute and amazing play in the early game there by TLO. And oh my god, he's even getting the Corvid reactor.
Man,
so
this
is... Ravens.
Yeah, but the question is, was it too late for ThorZain? It's good. This tech swap's gonna hit before Ravens have enough energy to do too much. If ThorZain can just hold off for another minute and a half, He will have the composition he needs to deal with this without question, but right now, if he can't stem those Marines under the Broodlords, actually with so few Corruptors, he would almost be better off dropping Marines under the Broodlords, but look at this, just forced to retreat to the Planetaries. There we go, there's that stim in. Gonna focus on these Broodlords. SCV's being pulled again because that's how ThorZain does it, folks.
And a lot of those Broodlords are falling right now. The Broodling's doing a whole bunch of damage, but there is so much here as a ground for ThorZain. It looks like he's just going to move right under these Broodlords
With
and
the
take
death of
them
these
out.
Broodlords, with the death of these Broodlords and the lack of economy TLO's had due to those Marauders on the... They're still there, Kalex. They're still sniping off drones at that base. This could be it. GG. It is called. Oh, man.
Oh, man, that was such an amazing game there from ThorZain. What a way to actually pull yourself back into a game and take out the powerhouse that is TLO.